Sweet. All right, last one. Can everybody hear me out there? I am so loud, but all right, cool. Am I talking too loud, Julie, or too fast? Sweet. I feel like I got a good pace. All right. I graded speeches today, so I'm really key right now on tone, on pace, on volume, all that fun stuff. Sebi gave a speech last year, so was Sixten, and Dre, you were 2 years ago. So this one actually came from, I'm still looking at Raul, it came from an interaction I saw at Palermo's. But I had been thinking about it for a while because I had seen people kind of freak out, like I said happened to me in the laundromat, and I look at the individuals who are getting freaked out on, and I wonder, what do we do? As a community, what do we do when people in public freak out on you? And it's going to take a little bit of time. And it's going to take ability to listen, to calm down, and to just think. So this one's called In the Face of Anger, and it's what we do when we see a lot of that energy coming towards us. Dealing with those who have a mental illness takes a certain kind of stillness, a mentality made up of kindness and patience, and a persistent reminder to try and understand so you can withstand sudden emotional outbursts stemming from only they know. I've seen one-on-one situations play out before me in coffee shops, street corners, and on the Amtrak. It starts more or less the same. The individual is subdued, staring, stewing about something. Then, without the slightest warning, snap. Anger and agitation are expressed, and now it's time for the test. As an onlooker, I watch for three things. Can the individuals in the vicinity keep calm? Can the people engaged handle the staring eyes around them? Most importantly, can they de-escalate the situation? As the interaction unfolds, the ones who have success stay the same. Emotionally intelligent individuals. They are unwavered by the anger or obscenity screen. They are committed to caring, knowing that this is part of the game that is actively playing out the same way across the country. This mentality is made up of mental exercise to strengthen one's emotional response. Practicing isn't always pretty, because sometimes, no matter how calm and careful you are, you still can't help. But by trying, we're creating a culture of compassion. And over time, we can change the perception of how we interact with and see those who suffer from mental illness. We are close to break. Like I said, we're going to take a little intermission, but we are not there yet. I thank you. I don't know what it was like reading poetry at a bar. I know what it's like reading in a library. I know what it's like reading in my garage. Yeah, I don't have a garage per se. I have a carport. We host a lot of open mics there. I actually just found a flyer. You don't care. It doesn't matter. But the idea is we read to each other. We're like, this is cool. Some people play music. But I was thinking tonight, I'm like, man, I'm about to go into this whole area. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to get heckled. I doubt it. But I was ready. So I thank you for your patience, and I think, man, this place is awesome. Anacapa is cool. You guys are good people. And I'm going to introduce another good person right now. So I'm going to introduce my buddy Roberto. And Roberto is the friend that I met. We literally moved into the apartment complex around the same time. I am grateful for Roberto because if Roberto wasn't such a dear friend, I don't think I would still be in California. I moved out here not knowing a soul. I moved out here on a whim. I got a job right out of college at Villanova as a dorm staff, and I moved out 8 days after accepting the job. And it was in August, it was fast, and I miss my family, I miss my friends. And I'm grateful to have a buddy who let me come into his family. You know, Jill and Carlos are there, Mike and Patty. Community is important. And I'm grateful that because my family is not physically here, I got people in this community that took me in, that treated me like a brother, that treated me like a friend. And Roberto did just that. I'm super grateful for him. And he's going to share a little bit because he is an artist himself. He's got a lot of good ideas. Hey, what's up?
Can I buy a book?
Heck yeah, you can buy a book. Are you not working tonight?
No.
Sweet.
Sorry.
Hey, you're good. Hey, Roberto. Everybody, let's give it up for Roberto. You're on, brother. Yeah, you can move all my stuff, man. I got a lot of stuff.
Well, I'll get you, bro. I have cash in here. You just have
Cool.
to find it.
You got a lot of food, dude.
You know what? I'm so drunk and I forgot I ordered onion rings and these other ones. They both came. It's like I didn't order that, but yeah. Oh yeah.
So as Brian was saying, we are neighbors. We moved into the complex at the same time, and we've been on quite a few adventures together. A few countries, many states, and I'm not necessarily a public speaker, but I do talk to people in public.
Really like all of what you said.
Anyways, despite my youthful appearance and my immaturity, I'm a lot older than I seem. Anyways, this year I'm actually celebrating my 15th year as being a paramedic. I've been in the healthcare field since 2001, and that's what really brought me into dealing with the homelessness firsthand, you know, at the age of 22. It started, you know, running the streets of Bakersfield, like mid-2000s. And when we had people out there, there were some things that we could do for them. We could treat them with IV or oxygen or medication, but there was sometimes we didn't have a remedy for them, and that's when I started asking questions. That's when I got curious about how did they end up on the streets? What keeps them there? Do they want to get off and back into some other type of normal living situation? And from there, just kind of fast forward a few years ago, I just kind of want to go into saying that it really has taught me to listen and ask questions, because you don't know what you're going to take away from these people. There's a lot of times that you're giving to people and trying to help people, but you never know what you might get in return. So just a few years ago, I was in Seattle, Washington, in this place called Pioneer Square, and ran into a man standing there. He was tall and slender, and he was running around painting these little squares of plexiglass, running from piece to piece and just adding things to it. And I was thinking to myself, wow, this is really cool. And I said to him, you know, this is really far out, man. I like what you're doing here. And he looked at me, and I could see on his face that he'd definitely been around the sun many, many times. He was painting sunsets of Saturn, Mars landscapes, and the beaches of Jupiter. And just by getting to talking to him, I found out that he'd been on the streets for many years. He had finally made his way up to being able to move into an apartment. He told me as I was purchasing one of his paintings, he's like, I'm about to get off the streets. And I said, well, what's the plan? What are you going to do for a job? He said, painting. That's all I know. And that really inspired me as being someone who is artistic. And I thought, wow, is this what it takes to really live that dream, to move up from something so low and so desperate to finally having a home to call your own and saying that you did it by doing something that you have passion for? So it's just taking the time to talk to people, to letting them know that they're not forgotten, that they're still human, that they still have something inside. And I have one poem to share with you guys. It's entitled, I stand here today with something to say. Would you please just lend me your ear? I'm a born instigator, self-proclaimed dragon slayer. Ironclad, with sword in hand, I came to enhance the spirit of man. A at night despite being born at the stars. My tales are told near and far, just ask the guy at the end of the bar. I'm here to wage a war on poverty. I speak no words of hypocrisy. When I walk the streets and I see defeat, that's what really bothers me. So I'm here to help my fellow man. With this pen and paper, I'm making a stand. I'm drawing a line in the sand. Kindness and compassion should not be held like a ration of food. I might sound like a monger when I speak about hunger, but there are people starving outside, and their hearts are just as hungry as ours. A home lost from the flames, and there's not much I can do to tame this fire inside. They live from carts and carriages, out of broken marriages, wandering the streets, collecting cans to survive, stripped of pride, dying inside, and struggling to stay alive. My arrows are lit and ready to burn down these walls that divide. I can say it with pride, through rhyme and reason. We can create a change in season, unlike any other that our sisters and brothers have ever seen before. The time has come for us not to run, but to stand here as one for all. We must fight the good fight and restrain from flight, no matter who or what's in our way. I'm clearing the path and I'm passing the staff for the new generation to hold. The truth must be told for all to uphold, with liberty and justice for all. In this pursuit of happiness, it's brought me nothing but sadness, and the madhouses are closed today. Mental health is a self-reflection, and it's hard to be whole when you feel broken like a scattered mirror on the floor. I'll pass up strife any day of my life, but I know these emotions are important to feel. We feel some kind of danger when we think about strangers, when they walk with the shadows at night. It's like a flood has come, like a murder weapon, and they've washed away so many lives. I choose to give, it's helped me to live. I'm a low-budget kid, spending his time writing these words that no one will buy. In closing, I'll say, as I stand here this day, we can do more by just lending an ear. Thank you.
About to go on the break, people. I wanted to kind of leave on a positive note, though, because talking about homelessness is super depressing. I shouldn't say it's super depressing. I should just say it's not a lot of fun. But it's a conversation we have to have, because how else are things going to change if we just keep looking away? So before we take a break, like I said, I got books here. I got literature here. I do write, surprisingly enough, I don't write just about poetry, about poverty. I write about racism, I write about community activism, I write about positivity and passion. That's how my website started for my class. So you can find it at happyfridayeveryday.com. But most importantly, like I said, all these proceeds are going to Project Understanding. We're close to $1,000. Yeah, I'm going to finish with Selling Hope. And I'm from Philly. Well, again, I told you from Jersey. I'm right from Philly. Same thing. I mean, the stigma, man, the stigma. It's the way how we can help and how we look at each other. And we roll right into break. Would you like to buy? Sitting on the corner, she was selling something. I wasn't interested. A nod, an excuse, flow from my mouth. I keep walking. 5 minutes later, damn it! I'm going the wrong way. As I work my way back, I see her again. This time, I'm ready to listen. What's she selling? Newspapers? About what? Homelessness. Pointing to her papers, she says, if you stay clean, off drugs and away from booze, you can make some money selling papers and get back on your feet.